just in case I get disappeared, I want to emphasise my correspondence with the local doctors, and I'm now going to reveal their identities for my own safety. Okay, this is the Kelso surgery. This is the revelations I've made on NHS fraud, the cost to the taxpayers and the patients. And I hate to dob on the local doctors, but because of what they've tried to do to me, I need to get it outed who they are, how the partners in my family are chosen by the Freemasons, and my son has just revealed for me that he's headed for Thailand and he has a new girlfriend that he met in Lord Patton's Newcastle. Okay, hopefully that's innocent, and the people that plan the world this way are backing down now. But I need to tell you about my campaign to get the solvency back into British healthcare, and I need to tell you about my invitation to dinner to the people who tried to section me because I'm a freedom fighter and an activist and someone who's very interested in drug safety, and to eliminate the prospect that our healthcare systems are run for profit by deviant bastards that get higher degrees and very sophisticated education in healthcare, and then every principle they learn they forget about it, and they try and get the innocents into a straitjacket or into an institution run by the Freuds, who are members of the Chipping Norton set and also of the Bloomsbury set, and that is why they frequently commit suicide late in their lives. Okay, so the doctors that wrote to me from Brigadoon is actually the Kelso Health Centre, where I'm still registered as a patient, but blessedly, because God's on my side, I don't have to attend very often. The last time was to get a hook removed from my finger, which is the last time that I enjoyed a trivial diversion like the rest of the blighted public who are being driven into care homes by these policies. The doctors care, and I know that. They want to change it, but it is so expensive for them to change it that they dare not do that. And if they step out of line with the commanders-in-chief of the money lending and assassination sectors, they could well get what Whitney Houston got. Yeah, you need to be enslaved by the system. Okay, so the doctor, shall I tell you their IDs, or is that treasonous of me? I think if there is an inquest into my premature death, you'll be able to suss it out. But I want you to see the letters that they wrote to me about their concerns about this is the intensive medicines monitoring program, which I played a part in New Zealand. The professor that was the head of that was given the sack last year, and when she got the professorship in our very poorly funded institution, she was bummed out of Otago University. And I've explained to you how Otago University is run so that it can be the British Crown's university still, and all of the quislings in that country are planted into those massive institutions with a huge reputation so that they can steal the prospects from the children and the students that work their way through that system. Almost every one of the students that I worked with in New Zealand has no longer got any contact with me. One of them is in Oxford. He's a cricket man. He had a minor heart attack when I was working there, and he is a very intelligent chap, and I think he understands it all now. He will not rejoin me on Skype, but he did have the courage when they thought they were on the higher ground and they were getting me backed into the corner they want me in, to visit my home and be my guest for a few days. His name is Brad, like the legendary cricketer from Australia. He now lives and works in Oxford, which is legendary for being immune from risk in wartime. And in the profiteering sector, in the geopolitical manipulation sector and in the links to the governance of Hong Kong and the Future of Russia Fund. Okay, that's just a little skim off the top of what they're trying to defend by putting decent people in straitjackets. Okay. This is the boss at the Uppsala Monitoring Centre, and I'm trying to get in touch with Swedish people that work in healthcare, but they're ever so reluctant to talk to me, maybe because they appreciate the risks of being honest and decent in Britain. I certainly appreciate that now, which is why I'm making this little video really quickly. That is Marie Lindqvist. She is a very decent woman, and Uppsala is legendary for objective research on the safety of drugs and their cost effectiveness. Everything is objective, scientific and constructive, but the deserters to the British cause are prepared to sell their souls for 40% of their salary to dismember their patients. I will not tell you their name. I know they understand the situation. I know that they're kids who played rugby with my kids and attended the Super Bowl equivalent in London at great expense when I'm accused of financial neglect of my family. They know who they are, and there's only half a dozen practitioners, and not many of them have children that play rugby. Okay. And the acts of God, even for that child who's a Facebook friend of mine still, it's astounding how God does not miss anything that happens on this earth. That's Bill Scott, the thief at St Andrew's House in the Scottish Civil Service. Professor Bill Scott. There's the Scottish Civil Service headquarters, and it's quite close to the very, very bottom of that Royal Mile that we talked about. Referral to psychiatric services for my interest in local healthcare. Dear Professor Lees, I have received copies of the emails you sent to Doctor. That's our doctor from Melrose. Yeah, Melrose is the elite internment camp for elites that managed to escape from the Napoleonic scam that was the sequestration of our national funding stream. That's the Waterloo fraud. Okay, I will not tell you his name. He's from Melrose, where my youngest son's girlfriend is from. These issues are obviously giving you a lot of concern, and I would like to see you to discuss how you are handling these concerns. I'm talking to them on the rugby touchline at Jedburgh. That's the one that I would not reveal in the earlier slide. I used to play rugby with him at Kelso Rugby Club, which is now asset stripped beyond recognition. Yeah, and he's been responsible for my dad's healthcare since we left for New Zealand, and that was one of the reasons that I came back, because my dad had several near-death incidents, nothing to do with the doctors. I realise now that the acts of God are largely responsible for many human pathologies and for physiological performance, which is why I made the videos this morning in my running gear. I'm as fit as a flea, and my mind is as agile as anybody else's on this globe. They would like to change that. Okay? The issues are obviously giving you a lot of concern, and I would like to see you to discuss how you are handling these concerns. It would be helpful to see you jointly with your wife, her solicitor has just confirmed that she has no grounds for divorce, and that she is leaving me only because she does not want to live with me anymore. I'm contesting that, and I vigorously contested the issue that I was psychiatrically unhinged, which several family members have tried to reinforce as they talk to people in the fishing club and come and fish the River Tweed out of Edinburgh, and are related to people and married into people in the emergency services sector that got me the sticking plaster on the shoulder that got me convicted of assault. the day that my wife's divorce writ came through. Okay. Okay, so this is my response to that letter, to the overt attempt to get me gagged. Okay, and I've been gagged by the Jedburgh Sheriff Court, and I can show you the letter from Kevin Drummond that makes me an outlaw if I contact Sheriff Harley, who had to be dropped because he is a cover for Arnott Manderson selling Scotland to the Crown Templar, and the Crown Office runs the law courts. 2 of the 4 have closed. Stormouth Darlands has closed. They are in denial that society is being robbed blind by the cabals that they participate in. So here's my letter in response to the request that I get in a straitjacket quick. Dear first name Dr. Y, in brackets, school governor, another rugby touchline friend. Yeah, because the first one from Melrose was talking up the concept that he did not like polypharmacy and dismembering his patients with it, but he would like to change it. But were it for the political influences that they took really seriously, and they had to wait until Salmon's government got a massive landslide in 2010 until they deserted me and tried to get me sectioned. Dear first name Dr. Y, school governor, another rugby touchline friend, written on the 5th of September 2011. That's somewhere around, I think it's way after my wife deserted me to run her business from my home. In other words, she claims to have deserted me already. What she means is that she left my bedroom and gave up all of her sexual favours. But she still has the gall to run her business from that address, which is my home, which she's trying to take half of it away from me. My home was my home when I met her, and that is covered in the earlier videos. Dear first name Dr. Y, school governor, another rugby touchline friend, thank you for your letter dated the 1st of September expressing your interest in my correspondence with Dr. X from Melrose. If you are concerned about the issues both myself and Dr. X exchanged views on, in brackets, GP prescribing targets and bonuses, pharmacoeconomic efficiencies in times of austerity, Australian ASCEPT protocols, that is the Australasian Society for Pharmacology and Toxicology protocols, the hazards of polypharmacy and the role of educated professionals in taking in Scotland and the UK out of its fiscal and moral crisis, then I am happy to meet, ? This is a letter from me to the surgery. If, on the other hand, your concerns are still for my health, then I would rather not meet you at all. I am revelling in the time to think and have never been fitter. If you don't have all the correspondence from Dr. X first name, then please let me know. It's now published openly under the cover of their nicknames Dr. X and Dr. Y, so that they can keep their reputation. I am much more generous than them. I know you are a leader of the community like Dr. X, and as a school governor, I am surprised at your reaction to honest, enthusiastic people trying to effect constructive change. So I have no concerns, even with the attitude that the practice and Dr. X have displayed to the issues that impact on NHS budgets and potentially on patient care. I think Dr. X said that up to 40% of your GP salary would be lost if the prescribing targets by volume were not met. That's by volume, not by diagnosis and reactive and logical intervention. It is for profit issuance of drugs that Granny does not need. Dr. X initially wrote that he could not discuss these issues before the election results, but declined to enter the debate at all beyond May, when the election was held. I can forward this correspondence if you wish. It's published online under Dr. X and Dr. Y. Regarding your concerns for my welfare, I am not concerned at all. The more recent email was on removing corruption from public affairs, and some of the recent news here is positive. That is when they stopped allowing me to contact the surgery. Hang-ups on politics, that's just before September 2011. Regarding your concerns for my welfare, I am not concerned at all. The more recent email was on removing corruption from public affairs, and some of the recent news here is positive. Hang-ups on politics and income streams are symptom of the times we live in, and my contacts with your practice have been based on the belief that the medical profession would be duty-bound to confront problems facing patients, healthcare and society. So please give me a call if you want to meet and chat informally about these issues around cost efficacy and integration in healthcare. But if not, then I would prefer to keep my distance until you see the weight of moral and fiscal issues facing the country. I am also happy to forward all the correspondence to you in brackets, or to have it published, so that you and all interested parties can see that my input and first name Dr. X earlier mail was entirely constructive. Dr. X's correspondent is somewhat bipolar, but life is full of disappointments, and this issue is relatively trivial for me compared with the global economic picture. I will not trouble him again, so please call me George and let me know if you are up for a friendly chat, and I would be delighted to meet you again, with or without partners and children, because this man came to visit me in my own home. The morning I was listening to President Kennedy's inaugural speech on freedom and secret societies, and I did not invite him here for that discussion. He turned the topic onto my psychiatric health. Yeah, a friendly stroll by the river and a blether with you, which is a conversation in Scottish parlance, with you on the touchline would be most welcome. Please let me know if this is possible, or whether you might consider coming to dinner. Your son K and my son A are close friends. That's the Super Bowl visit when I was driving my family into poverty. All my relatives, contacts and I know you and first name Dr. X are a force for good in the community. I hope K's injury is healing quickly and he gets back to the game soon. Yours sincerely and constructively, George. The rest of it is published already. That's my letter, my compassionate approach to the doctors who get 40% of their salary to dismember their patients, and they blame it on the politicians. Bye bye. He realizes though that physical fitness and intellectual agility are important. Since that correspondence he has not pestered me, and I've seen him running on the pavements with tracksuits on, and his son is fit again, and they know that I am leading the revival of our country. Bye bye.